Welcome to August at Empirical's SDA Learning Center. In the last video, I demonstrated how you can use basic AutoCAD commands to create a fairly complex transformer schematic symbol in AutoCAD Electrical. Now I want to dig deeper into the symbol creation process by focusing on creating a detailed catalog database entry for this symbol. AutoCAD Electrical's catalog database holds basic equipment information about manufacturer and part numbers for your bill of materials. But the catalog database is so much more than a simple parts catalog. In this video, I'll highlight some of the important fields in AutoCAD Electrical's catalog database that you can use to speed up data entry during design. This is a 3-line transformer symbol I created and inserted during our last session. Since the transformer symbol can represent a variety of different transformers, there is no default information on the drawing. Instead of forcing the user to enter information into this symbol and other symbols that he inserts, we can embed that equipment information into the catalog database and let AutoCAD Electrical populate the symbol data for us. Let's open up the catalog browser and have a look. If I go to my command line, I'll type in AE catalog open to open that catalog database. Up at the top, there's a drop-down list that contains a list of all the family tables in the catalog database that correspond to the family codes of each symbol category. Each family table contains the catalog information for each device family. If you want to add a family table to the list, I can go under the Projects tab, and under Other Tools, I can select Add Table to Catalog Database and select Default Catalog Database, the Access Database file. In the dialog box, I would designate a family code under Table Name and the family name under Table Description. Don't worry about adding the parentheses because the program will add them for you. It's important to note the catalog database should only be edited through AutoCAD Electrical. The only thing I've done in the Access database was to delete unused family tables from the database. Otherwise, I only add or delete catalog information from the database through the AutoCAD Electrical Catalog browser. In my catalog dropdown, I already have the transformer family selected. To add a new entry, I'll click on the pencil to edit the catalog database, and AutoCAD Electrical will create a blank entry at the bottom of the list. If we look at the fields we can fill out, we have the obvious catalog field for the part number, the manufacturer, and the description of the equipment. These are required for obvious reasons. Another required field is the type and rating field. Miscellaneous fields can be used for miscellaneous information or things like internal company part numbers. Values in the assembly code field indicate the item has subassembly items. Assembly list indicates the item is a subassembly of a main item, and assembly quantity indicates the number of subassemblies this item represents in the main item. Fields user 1 through 3 are reserved for other information. The secondary fields I want to focus on is text value, web link, symbol 2D, and coil pins. Before I type any information into the catalog, the question to ask is, where am I going to get the information? For that, let's go to the vendor drawings. In particular, the nameplate drawing. The nameplate drawing will contain most of the information we'll need to fill out the majority of the catalog information. The first bit of information I'll need is the part number for this equipment. The design number in the title block will give us a clue as to what the catalog ID number should be, so I'll enter that into the catalog field. The manufacturer is going to be Virginia Transformer Corporation. It's important to note that these fields have different character limits, so you have to be conscious of the fact that something might be too long and you're going to have to abbreviate. And in this case, I've reached the limit. So I think I'm just going to abbreviate it as VTC and move on. Any of this information can change in the future. For the description, I want to be detailed here because there's a lot of information on the nameplate that I want to use, but I have to be cognizant of the fact that there is also a 150 character limit to this field, so abbreviations might be necessary. I'll enter the description information in what I feel is the order of importance, or maybe even the biggest to smallest detail. However you decide to organize the descriptions, I recommend keeping the data entry as uniform as practical within each category. I'll begin with what the equipment is, a power transformer. I'll designate the kV, high side and low side. And next I'll do the MVA. And then I think I'll follow it up with the class. I think I'll add the phase right before the high voltage, low voltage rating here. So I have my transformer type, my phase, my kV rating, my MVA rating. Next is the class. ONAN, ONAF, ONAF. And then I'll follow that by adding the rated impedance of this transformer. We'll check the equipment layout drawing for signs of any other information I might want to include. I'll go ahead and add the tolerance to the impedance. Plus or minus 7.5%. And then I think I'll finish up with the high side and low side basic lightning insulation levels. Go over to my nameplate drawing. And the winding bushing rating is the same. It looks 500 kV on the high side and 200 kV on the low, so I'll enter that in there. As you can see, these descriptions can get as detailed or as vague as you want them to be. I always end up opting for more detail, pushing the limits of the character field, so. The type field is a required field that seems to be used for searching the catalog, so I'm going to fill this in with the transformer cooling class, ONAN/ONAF. And for the rating, I'll type in the high side and low side kV rating. That seems obvious. But I might come back and I might append that with the MVA rating or just the MVA rating for the transformer. Now I'll get into the text value field. This is where you can really drive some speed into your designs. In this field, I'm going to assign specific values from my catalog description to specific rating attributes on my transformer schematic symbol. You can add catalog data to any attribute in this way, whether it's an AutoCAD Electrical attribute or a user-defined attribute. In this case, I'm going to reference the attribute template I created for this symbol from the last session. and assign catalog data to these attributes in the following format: the attribute name, equal sign, then the value, followed by a semicolon. There's going to be no spaces between each one of these entries. There's also no order that you need to follow. You just have to make sure you follow that formatting. Equipment like transformers typically contain a lot of information on the drawing. The order that I populated the catalog description field and the values, type, and rating fields can change if necessary. In fact, like I've mentioned, I'll probably end up going back and revisiting this entry and subsequent entries at a later date as I continue to build out this customer's catalog and get a sense of how best to organize the information in this category. That being said, the information that I'm directing to the symbol attributes through the text value field will remain the same because all of this information is shown on the 1-line and the 3-line schematic drawings in one way or another. It's just a matter of choosing what information is visible and what information is invisible on each of those two drawings. And this text value field can get quite lengthy depending on how much information you're actually showing on the drawings. The web link field is a place where you can link a PDF or a website URL to the catalog entry. Since equipment like this is really particular to the application, linking to a datasheet on a website really isn't applicable, but you may decide to link a datasheet or even a PDF of the vendor prints in this field. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to put a link to the company website, vatransformer.com, and move on to the symbol 2D field. The symbol 2D field here is where I can actually assign library symbols to the catalog entry. This allows me to not only insert symbols through the catalog browser during design, it will simultaneously give the symbol catalog info, terminal values, and all the description and rating information it requires through the text value field, all at the same time with no further user input. So I simply navigate to the symbol, there it is, and it gives a block name there. If I were to add multiple symbols, it would throw a vertical pipe character in between each one of those. The coil pins field is related to the pin information associated with the parent symbol. I'm just going to list each terminal value of the parent symbol, or the bushing value, in order from H1 to H3 for terms 01, 02, and 03. And X1 through X3, and then term 07 is X0 for the neutral bushing. When I created the parent symbol, I placed the term attributes in such a way as to keep the catalog coil pins entry the same format, regardless of the term attribute placement. The pin list field is typically associated with child symbols, so I won't be filling this out right now. However, when I come back to this and other entries in this catalog, this is where I will place normally open and normally closed auxiliary contacts based on the vendor prints. This will allow the user to keep track of all available auxiliary contacts associated with this transformer. So now I can go back to the symbol in the drawing and attach this catalog information. I'll right click and go to Edit Component, and under the Catalog Lookup, I can go about searching for the class, ONAN, select that, and now not only do I get the catalog information, I got my primary description, all my rating information, as well as all my bushing terminal information in 2 clicks. All that's left for me to do is to give it a tag value, a location code value, and an installation code value. I'm going to use the transformer cab location code because that is where the cabinet is going to be assigned, and all that information is there. There's my bushing terminals. And my rating information. We'll go ahead and hide the location and installation code attributes. This demonstration was an example of using the catalog database explicitly for automated schematic data entry. It takes some planning and preparation in both the library and the catalog database to get them working together efficiently. It makes sense to catalog control house equipment because that information is going to be on our bill of materials. It may not make sense to add major equipment like circuit breakers, transformers, and other switchyard equipment for that same reason. But the catalog database, like I said, is so much more than just a simple parts catalog. With little time and attention, it can be a powerful tool for data entry during design. Thanks for stopping in again. I'll see you in September with more AutoCAD electrical content here at the Empirical SDA Learning Center.